In this video, I'm going to go over 5 different Peekaboo boxing style firing positions. Now, these positions can be both defensive and offensive. So the first thing I want to do a quick review on the Peekaboo boxing stance. Remember, the Peekaboo boxing stance, if you're right-handed, you're going to have your left foot forward. All right, your shoulders are going to be at a 45-degree angle. All right, you're not completely squared up. All right, when do you square up? Is when you're on the inside. So I'm at a 45. Elbows are in tucked, shoulders slightly shrugged, chin tucked, hands up on the cheeks. Okay, and then I'm going to get in a medium crouch. Okay, so this good knee bend too. This is the Peekaboo boxing stance. All right, this shoulder's pulled back. I'm not completely squared up. Okay, I'm here on the outside. Remember, when I start off, every fight starts on the outside. Okay, and then whether you're an in-fighter or an outside boxer, if you're an in-fighter, you gotta work your way in. But you start right here. This shoulder back, this shoulder forward. Okay, so the first firing position is gonna be to the left-hand side. Okay, so remember the slip. Okay, all the Peekaboo slip is I'm gonna take my head and take it to my shoulder. Okay, head to the shoulder. They're more lateral, right? Side to side, like side bends. So I'm gonna be here, I'm just gonna take the head to the shoulder. Head to the shoulder, okay? Whether my hips kick out or not really depends on your own body's flexibility, okay? So I'm here in my stance, out. Now if I go to the other side, slip to the other side, there, head to shoulder, here and here. Okay, so those are the first 2 firing positions I want to talk about. So the first one is here, to the lead hand or left hand side, unless you're a southpaw. So when I'm here, this is a firing position. What this does is it preloads my opposite hand, and I can be able to fire different punches out of it. Okay, so when I'm in my stance, I slip to the lead hand side. Now I'm preloaded. Okay, which is going to put more power and body weight into my punch. Okay, so the first firing position is going to be slip left. Okay, and then out of this position, I can come with the left hook, the number 1. Or I can slip, come with that number 3, the uppercut. Or I can slip, come with that 5 to the liver. Or I can go right to the jab. So I can slip and then come out of that with the number 7. Okay, same thing applies to the opposite side. So when I'm on this, I go to this side, I can come with the number 2. Remember, the number 2 in the Peekaboo number system, depending on range and distance. If I'm farther away from my opponent, I throw the straight right. Okay, if I'm closer to my opponent, I can change it to a hook to the jawline. Okay, so I got the slip, straight number 2, slip, round number 2. Okay, next one's going to be the uppercut. So I head to shoulder, fire the number 4, uppercut. And then the last one is going to be a slip, and then I'm going to fire the number 6, which is the body hook to the spleen. Okay, so just a quick review. 7, 1, 3, 5, 2, or as a hook, 2, 4, 6. Okay, so those are the first 2 firing positions, is this outside slip, inside slip, or whichever way you look at it, outside, inside, to the lead hand side, and then the rear hand side. Now, mind you, in Peekaboo, the slip, which is just head to shoulder, can be 2-dimensional. Here's what I mean by that. So if I just go head to shoulder slip, that's used more for the outside range. Like let's say I'm sparring my opponent, I'm out here, I'm working behind my jab, and I can slip. I can 7 slip, 2 slip. Okay, it's more out here because I'm still moving in. Now if I get closer to my opponent, I change the plane or the angle. I go deeper on the slip. So instead of just going head to shoulder, I actually drop down more. Now I kick my hip out while I'm lower in this firing position. Why do I do that on the inside? It's because I don't want to be upright when my opponent's on the inside. Depending on who I go against, someone my height or taller or whatever, I want to be under them. I want my forehead under their chin. Okay, if their chin's here, I want to be in this position. Why? Because this is the best position where I can get full body weight into my punches, okay? So the slip can go one-dimensional, and then it can go two-dimensional, all right? Where I take this shoulder here and go more towards the knee. So the first one's head to shoulder, or I can take this down here, okay? So for instance, if I go head to shoulder, usually I come back with a jab. So I hear slip, jab, because that's on the outside, or slip, cross, okay? But if I get deeper, all right, or let me take that back, I can hear and then throw that lead hook. But if I get deeper on my opponent, okay, that's when I can come with my full power punches, okay? Now, one of the things I'm gonna point out is when I'm on the outside range with my opponent, I can just slip, and I can start stepping in, pressuring, whatever. Slip, side to side, or I can start doubling it up. Slip, or slip, weave, okay? But usually when I go to the second plane, or the second dimension of the slip, I usually step in with my lead foot, okay? So instead of here, I step in more, because I want to get closer to create that side angle. My opponent's here, so I can come with the 5 or the 1, okay? So, quick review. The first firing position is the lead hand slip. Second firing position, the rear hand slip, okay? And remember, if I slip this way, I'm not gonna punch with this arm. If I slip this way, I'm not gonna punch with this arm. Can I do that? Absolutely. I can slip here and then hook this one, but it's not gonna have maximal body weight behind that punch. But doesn't mean you can't do it, okay? Remember, you gotta learn the rules before you break the rules. Okay, so slip, number 2, and then you also got a two-dimensional slip where I go down. So let me do all 4 of those, even though it only counts as 2 firing positions. So there, and there, and then there, and then there. I'm always stepping in with the two-dimensional slips. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is you're gonna add your bob and weave, your weave in motion, okay? Remember, a bob is this. I just bob down. All right, the weave is actually, I'm gonna sway to one side and roll under, okay? I'm gonna sway and roll. The weave is a separate action from the bob, okay? I'm not bobbing and then weaving. A bob is here, a bob is here, a bob is here, okay? So I'm gonna sway and weave. So let's call it a roll in. I'm gonna roll in, because I'm gonna take that step. Usually when I bob and weave, it's closer to my opponent, or I'm using it to get closer to my opponent. So I'm either already close to my opponent, or I'm gonna get close to my opponent. So I'm gonna step in, I'm gonna weave to the lead hand side. This is firing position number 3. And I stay crouched, I stay low, knees bent, hands on my cheekbones. And then from here, I can do the same thing. I can fire with the 7, the 1, the 3, or the 5, okay? Now firing positions number 4 is just the opposite of that. I'm gonna weave to this side, stay crouched. I got the 2, hook or straight. I got the 4, and then I got the 6. Now the 6 can be a body hook if I'm closer, or let's say I weave this way and I rotate into a straight to the body, okay? So, thus the first 4 Peekaboo style firing positions, okay? Positions that you want to get to on your opponent so you can let your punch go with bad intentions. Okay, so the 5th one is the bob or the duck. Like I said, I'm gonna duck. On the outside, he throws that jab, I just might duck it without no footwork. I might just duck, okay? I don't want to get in a habit of ducking though. That's why it's number 5. I don't want to get in a habit of ducking. Why? Because if I'm always going up and down, that's when he can come up with those uppercuts. For the most part, when I get close to my opponent, I want to get my head offline. Like if this is the center line, I want to get my head offline. That's why these firing positions are very important, okay? So here, I can duck or bob straight down, or I can step with it with my lead foot, which I like to do because it gets me closer. So the firing position from here, what can I do? So from the bob or the duck, you can fire with either arm. So let me show you. I can duck down, come up with the 7. Okay? I can duck down, come up with the 2, either straight or hook. I can duck down, come up with the 5. Duck down, come up with the 6. You get the point. I can do all punches from these. Okay, both sides. Might not have the highest amount of body weight behind it. For instance, if I duck down and then come up with the 5, it's probably not going to have as much body momentum or leverage as if I go to that drop, that second dimensional slip position where I can really come up with the hip. Okay, so quick review. Firing position number 1, head to shoulder, slip. Or if I make it two-dimensional, I can go in more. Okay, second firing position, head to shoulder, or I can make it more two-dimensional. All right, third firing position, I'm gonna weave and crouch. Weave and crouch. Fourth, I'm gonna weave and crouch. And then number 5 is the duck. Okay, now let's go to the heavy bag. The first firing position, remember, is that either that head to shoulder, head to shoulder. So what you wanna do is, once you get the motion down, okay, you wanna go to the heavy bag and immediately start punching out of it. Okay, punching out of it. So I'm in front of the heavy bag, I'm gonna do that first firing position, which is head to shoulder. And then what can I do? I can come out of it with the number 7. And just a disclaimer, every time you punch, you wanna move your head after your last punch. That's what makes peekaboo, peekaboo. Okay, it's not just the hands, it's a set of theories that go behind it, concepts. Okay, so every time I throw a punch, I wanna do something defensive. All right, move my head. All right, so first position here. And I'm just working the 7. Fire. All right, you might do a whole round of that. Okay, and then round number 2, I might go to the hook. Remember, if I go head to shoulder, I'm not gonna be going uppercut and body hook yet, because I usually do that out of the second dimensional slip. Okay, so next one, I head to shoulder, and I move my head twice. Okay, I throw a hook, I move my head twice. Here, move my head. Hands on the face, protecting my face. Okay, now I can change it and make it more two-dimensional. That's where the uppercut and the body hook comes in. Can I hook to the head out of that? Absolutely. Can I jab? Yes. Okay, so I'm here, I'm gonna step in, two-dimensional. Number 1, move my head. Bob and weave on the inside. All right, do it again. 7. Do it again. Okay. Number 3, uppercut. Now mind you, uppercuts are hard to throw in the bag, okay? You got an uppercut bag or one of those contour to heavy bags, that's a lot better. All right, and then the last one is I get that firing position and I throw the number 5 to the liver, okay? Make sure you move your head. Now let's go to the other side. Remember, I can do it one-dimensional, I can head to shoulder, fire to 2, move my head. Head to shoulder, fire the hook, move my head. Or if I do more two-dimensional, I can do all the above. All right, so if I do 2 here, throw the 6. Throw the 2. Throw the number 4. So those are the first 2 firing positions. Now I'm gonna go to number 3, which is that lead hand weave. Now I'm gonna weave and crouch. Weave and crouch. Stay low, keep the knees bent. All right, so I step in, I'm gonna weave, 7. Okay, again, step in, weave, number 1, move twice. Step in, weave, number 3, move my head. Step in, throw the number 5, move my head. So that's all the punches off the weave. Now to do the thing with the number 4 firing position, weave to the rear hand side. Now what you can do, when I weave to the right or the lead hand side, I like to take a little side step with my right foot. So I'm here, I weave, I take a little side step. 2, okay, then you can move your head. All right, I weave, 2 with the hook, okay? Weave, throw that 6. And then the last one is, I'm gonna weave, throw the number 4. Now, the 5th firing position is the bob or the duck. I'm in front of the heavy bag. Okay, in front of the heavy bag. I can duck 7. Okay, I can duck 2. I can duck. Number 1, move my head twice. I can duck, throw the 6. I can go through all of those punches off of that firing position. So now I'm just gonna randomly hit the bag for 30 seconds just to show you how I'm gonna fire out of those positions. You get the point. I can just punch and move. Well, it's going to be the pattern or the formula is going to be move, punch, move. Move, punch, move. And you can do this both offensive and defensive. So that's a whole other video when we actually start training it with a training partner. Either they have mitts on or sparring drills. Okay? But just to give you a quick example, if I jab and then go to fire in position number 1, and they just so happen to throw that cross, my head's offline. All right? My head's offline. So I'm being offensive and defense at the same time. All right? Peekaboo boxing theory, real simple. Okay? Take your defense or make your defense just as important as your offense. All right? The reason why people get hit a lot in sparring is they don't take their defense serious, or they take a passive approach to their defense. They may take an aggressive approach to their offense, but then they take a passive approach to their defense. So for instance, in normal boxing styles, I might 1-2, return back to my stance, use some footwork, 1-2, okay, which is nothing wrong with that, okay? But Peekaboo, what makes Peekaboo different is I have a concept or a theory I have to follow. I have a roadmap. That roadmap states when I step in, engage my opponent, I'm going to do something defensive, either by moving my head or moving my feet. Okay? Because just because I step in with a 7-2, all right, if I want to stay close to my opponent or he punches right away, all right, I can move my head. I can also 7-2 and then step pivot out. Okay? You can add in other footworks. Remember, Peekaboo, it's just a style. The ultimate style is you picking and choosing from different boxing styles and creating your own style. You know, kind of like the concept of what Bruce Lee was talking about. Even though Bruce Lee had a set number of techniques in his personal Jeet Kune Do, now you like, let's say you go 7, slip, slip, and then when you're on this side, a right hand comes out of nowhere. And you drop into the shoulder roll and then counter and then step around. So you're starting to blend styles. Or maybe you like to fight on the outside, where I'm out here more using my reach, boxing, but I can still add in those slips. I can throw a 1-2 slip. Okay, work the outside game. Now if I want to pressure, that's when I go more two-dimensional. Okay, and then get on the inside, use the footwork, and attack my opponent. That is it. Kind of a long video. I haven't posted a video in a while. Been dealing with all kinds of stuff like work and injuries. I'm 47 now, so I'm no spring chicken. Okay, so I get injured a lot more. I got injured in my neck really bad in sparring. So, gonna be uploading more videos each week. I'm gonna start a membership, YouTube membership, where I'm gonna do behind the scenes or extra videos without the mask on. Okay, but if you want to see me without the mask, you gotta show me the money. So that is it. Have a good day.